Everybody's Big Game James here. I'm back in the building. You know how we do. Got some good videos that came up about Mari Cooper, Demarcus Lawrence. Make sure you go check those out if you haven't already. Go check those videos out. But here's some of my quick thoughts. Just one quick thought, and this is about Dalton Schultz today. It's the Dalton Schultz dilemma to me because Dalton Schultz is out of contract. Obviously, he's had two really good last 2 years, and this is some talk. Do they re-sign Dalton Schultz? Do they let him walk? Do they draft? Do they roll with Blake Jarwin? What happens here? Well, just from my perspective, in my opinion, first of all, for a franchise tag, no. Coming from me, I'm not franchising no Dalton Schultz. I believe the franchise tag for Dalton Schultz, if you do it, is just over 10 point. It's like 10 million. If you're to hit the franchise tag. And then if you did tag him, you're gonna have to sign him to a big deal. And I'm gonna just keep it real. I'm not hating on no Dalton Schultz. Let me first to tell you about Dalton Schultz. I should always preface this before I do one of these videos. First of all, I like what Dalton Schultz did. I like what he brought to the table. I like how he came in right when Blake Jarwin blew his knee out in that Rams game in 2020. In 2019. And he came right in and turned. Oh, was it 2020? Yeah, it was 2020. I'm sorry. He came right in 2020 and turned all the way up. And a lot of us were doubting Dalton Schultz. I know I was talking mad trash about Dalton Schultz because your first year, you played 11 games. Obviously, we know Jason Witten was there, so you weren't getting no tick. 12 catches. 2019 had one whole catch. 16 games, one whole catch. That's when we were talking about, oh, this dude's a bust, man. He ain't never gonna get no time. But we also got to see Jason Witten came in and cramped up Styles and talking about, oh, I want to come back for one more right now. You didn't. You want to come back for records. But anyway, that stalled Dalton Schultz, Blake Jarwin. That stalled all of them. That 2019 stalled all of them. So I was looking like this dude may be a bust. 2020 comes around. Blake Jarwin just signed his nice deal. He's making like $8 million, $9 million per. He just signed his deal after what he did the first few years, even with Witten playing. So you saw, okay, you might see something with Blake Jarwin. So they signed him to the 4-year deal. Blew his knee out the first game. We're like, oh man, everybody was frustrated. I know I was. Dalton Schultz comes in, 89 targets, 63 catches, 615 yards, 9.8, 4 touchdowns. Came out of nowhere with it. Nobody thought that he was really going to turn up and do this. And then he comes back after Blake Jarwin comes back. Obviously, Jarwin got hurt again with the hip, but he came back in again. 104 targets, 78 catches, 808 yards, 10 yards a catch, and only had how many drops he had? He had 4 drops this year, 4 drops in 2020, but pretty reliable. Dalton Schultz has been pretty reliable in these last 2 years. He's been Dak Prescott's security blanket. I even said, I made a video on him, said he's been turning up and he's Whitnish. Whitnish is in meaning that dude can just get open. Dude know how to find the little sweet spots underneath the zones. He ain't a bad athlete, but he ain't super athletic. But he's athletic enough, in my opinion. But not doing a franchise tag on him. Don't need to. And this is just what my thoughts of Dalton Schultz. I understand he's Dak's security blanket. I definitely understand that. I definitely understand what he's been doing. But to me, the only way you keeping Dalton Schultz is if you getting rid of Blake Jarwin. If you cut Blake Jarwin and you save that $4.5 million, then use that money to sign Dalton Schultz, then I ain't tripping. Okay? But you still got Blake Jarwin in the fold, and you need to decide, is Blake Jarwin going to be a guy going forward? Because Blake Jarwin did show you something. And that's why you gave him that deal. Blake Jarwin's first few years, obviously, he came in undrafted, played in one game. When he came in undrafted, I was talking about him A1 day one when he came undrafted because I saw some potential in him. The next year in 2018, 36 targets, 27 catches, 307 yards. But we saw what he did in that daggone Giants game. He turned all the way up, and you were getting excited. You were like, okay, this is what we like right here. You feel me? You weren't loving that at all. Don't drop the ball either. Only had 2 drops that 2018 year. Only had 1 drop in 2019. All right, so 2019, and that's when Jason Witten was there. You feel me? 16 games, started 7. Jason Witten was the progress stopper, was there. 41 targets, 31 catches, 365 yards, 11 yards a catch, 3 touchdowns again. And like I said, Blake Jarwin can stretch that field. You feel me? Blake Jarwin, I feel like, does a little bit more than Dalton Schultz on the athletic side. Although Dalton Schultz ain't unathletic, I just feel like Blake Jarwin is more athletic, especially in the seams. I feel like he can really cut up the D or extend it. I think he can really go deep. I think he can do a lot more 9 routes, those type of routes where he can get over the top of the defense. I think he can get behind safeties. I think he has that type of ability. His problem has just been his health. Let's keep it real. His problem has been his health, nothing else. And we saw the offense was humming with both of them in the game, that 2 tight end set, both of them. But it kind of fell off a little bit when Blake Jarwin went out a little bit. You missed Blake Jarwin. So that's my thing with Dalton Schultz. If you're signing Dalton Schultz, you must cut Blake Jarwin. You can't have 2 tight ends making $9-10 million a year. No, you cannot do that. So I still think Blake Jarwin offers more as far as the athletic side, but the productivity falls to Schultz. But I think if Blake Jarwin stayed healthy, he could get those same type of numbers. So my thing coming from me, I will see what the market was talking about. Not franchise tagging him. I will see what that market is looking like for him. If people are talking about 11, 12, 13 million per, I'm cool. I can go ahead and move on past that with Dalton Schultz, especially if I kept Amari Cooper. Now, if you lose Amari Cooper, which we already talked about that video, and you're doing something goofy like that, and you lose Amari Cooper, now, yeah, it does become paramount because you got CeeDee Lamb. You got he's going to be an asset because he's going to be a guy that you need to kind of lean your head on. Dak will need to lean his head a little bit on those tight ends because you don't have a game changer in Amari Cooper. You feel me? So that I think that kind of all intertwines with each other. Amari Cooper, is he back? Because if Amari Cooper comes back, I'm definitely not tripping off of Dalton Schultz walking because I can keep with Blake Jarwin. I like the Sean McKeon kid from Michigan. I know he's only been there a couple years and he hasn't got a lot of tick, but I definitely like with that Sean McKeon. I like him. I like his arrow. I think he can catch the ball. I think he's like a Dalton Schultz to me, in my opinion. We'll have to see what that blocking look like, but it's not like them two are great blockers, Dalton Schultz or Blake Jarwin were no great blockers. You feel me? But I like Sean McKeon. I like what I've seen in him. And I would hedge taking a Blake Jarwin, a Sean McKeon. I don't know if you're going to get that Jeremy Sprinkle. He won't cost a lot of money. And then I'm going to probably draft later, a tight end later. If y'all been checking out my mock drafts, I've been going hard with Jake Ferguson from Wisconsin. I've drafted him in 2 of my mock drafts around that 5th round. I think he can last that long. Obviously, Trey McBride from Colorado State, I liked him in the Senior Bowl. He was turning all the way up. Jalen Weidermeyer, I don't know too much about him. Cole Turner from Nevada. Jeremy Ruckert is a guy you want to keep your eye on, too. He's sneaky. But I really like Jake Ferguson. I feel like you could get him later. So, in essence, what I'm saying is this. On the Dalton Schultz dilemma. The only dilemma I have with Dalton Schultz is this. With Blake Jarwin and him, who are you trying to keep? All right? Obviously, the only question mark with Blake Jarwin is the health. Can he stay healthy? But he had 2 freak kind of accidents with the hip injury, got hit. Me, personally, I'm going to jump out there and say, I'm going to go ahead and go with Blake Jarwin. Let him finish out this deal. Sean McKeon. I like him on the backup. I think he can be like a Dalton. I think like he could be like a Dalton Schultz. He has those type of traits. And then I'm going to draft a guy like a Jake Ferguson and get me a guy in the later rounds and mold him. Jake Ferguson blocked pretty good. Trey McBride was a real good blocker. I don't think he's going to last long, like 4th or 5th round. He's not going to last that long. But, Cole Turner, Jake Ruckert, Jeremy Ruckert, like I said, some of those guys are sneaky. And he's not the tight end, the Travis Kelce's, the George Kittles, I don't know about Dallas Goedert. Mark Andrews, not the Mark Andrews. Zach Ertz. You feel me? He's not those type of guys to me. I think he's a good tight end. He's not the upper echelon. So me personally, I'm not jumping out there and signing him to 11, 12, $13 million deal. If I was the owner, I'm going to sit back and kind of watch and see what that market says to him. And then if he gets hit with one of those big deals, then I'm going to be like, I'm out. I'm going to roll with Blake Jarwin and the contract I have with him. I'm going to put Sean McKeon as a backup. Maybe I get a cheap blocking tight end. And then I'm going to hit that draft. And and I'm gonna get me a tight end in the fourth or fifth, that fifth round. I'm looking around that fifth round to grab a tight end, and I think I can get one I can mold. So it's definitely no diss on Dalton Schultz. I want him to go get his money. He deserves to get paid and for what he's done these last couple of years. But when we're talking about the Cowboys and what Stephen Jones and them like to do, how they don't like to sign all kind of crazy players, I would say that look at the market, see what it says for him. If people are talking about 12, 13 million, you talking about putting a transition tag or something like that where you can get picks, I don't know. You can think about that. Franchise, I'm just not doing a franchise tag on Dalton Schultz. I'll just take my chance, not franchise tagging him. If the market jumps out there and somebody signs him to like 13, 14 million, then by all means, go ahead and do that. I'm not doing that. I'll roll with Blake Jarwin. I'll roll with Sean McKeon. I'll draft somebody, and I'll keep it like that. So that's kind of my thoughts with Dalton Schultz, my kind of feelings about him. Like I said, 663 catches in the Blake Jarwin hurt year, 78 catches, but you never hit 1,000 yards. So we'll see. You feel me? We'll see how that really goes. But for me, I'm gonna let Dalton Schultz test the market. I'm gonna see what that market says. If they go crazy with a crazy number trying to sign him, I'm rolling with Blake Jarwin. I'm rolling with Sean McKeon, and I'm drafting a tight end, and I'm gonna be okay. Especially if I'm bringing Amari Cooper back, I'm gonna be all right. I got Amari, I got Gallup. If they sign him to a maybe a lower deal, maybe Cedric Wilson gets signed. But if I'm keeping Amari Cooper and I got CeeDee Lamb and those guys and Dalton Schultz walk, I think my team is gonna be okay. I wouldn't oversign him. I know we want to keep our own. That's what Stephen Jones says. You want to keep our own, stay with our own, but you got a tight end right there. And the only thing that's really kept him from hitting that next level, in my opinion, has been the injuries. So out on Schultz on the franchise tag, let him test the market. If somebody wants to sign him crazy, we rolling with who I told you about. All right. So that's my kind of 2 cents on the Dalton Schultz thing. Check me out. Got another video coming soon. And you know how we do. Good game, James. I'm out. Peace.